What is the average depth of buried Yamashita treasures? One among the most commonly asked question that I often get is, what is the average depth of a buried Yamashita treasure? My answer to this question actually depends on several different reasons, which we are going to cover on this video. I am aware that being able to determine the estimate depth of the treasure deposit that you are digging is very motivating. It can really boost your motivation, that some can even dig non-stop because of the known set target of depth. However, being able to determine the depth of a certain buried Yamashita treasure deposit can only be known through the clues left behind by the Japanese Imperial Army. These clues can be in the form of treasure maps, signs, or markers. Is there an average, or standard depth that the Japanese Imperial Army followed when they buried their treasures? Unfortunately, there was none. They mostly buried their treasures, depending on the availability of their time, and clever designs on how they had hid them. But basing it on my personal experiences as a treasure hunter, what I can provide is the range of depths, which usually goes between 3 feet, down to 80 feet deep. Although, there are some fellow treasure hunters of mine who claims that they were able to reach up to 120 feet deep before they uncovered the hidden treasure deposit. So what exactly are the reasons why the Japanese Imperial Army had buried their treasures at random depths? There are actually 3 possible reasons. The first reason is that it depends on the numbers of the Japanese Imperial Soldiers who worked and buried their treasures. Thus, the more numbers they had, means that they can dig much faster, deeper, and implemented clever designs on their diggings. The second reason is the availability of their time. You have to know that the main reason why the Japanese Imperial Army did not surrender right away was because they had a mission of hiding their Yamashita treasures. Thus, they were being pursued by the Allied forces while at the same time, they were cleverly burying their precious treasure loots. But at this kind of situation, the Japanese Imperial Army had a very limited time to hide or bury their treasures, especially when the Allied forces were closely tracking them down. So on a situation like this, they never had enough time to dig an insane amount of depths. This is the reason why there are some Yamashita treasure deposits that can be uncovered at a range of only 3 to 15 feet deep. And finally, the third reason is that there were some of the Japanese Imperial Soldiers who were able to safely hide themselves from their pursuers. Thus, they had all the time to dig complex tunnels and holes that are quite insanely deep. Thus, hidden treasure deposits on such sites may range a depth of 60 to 120 feet. Some of you might ask, how about the volume of the treasure deposit? Yes, the volume of the treasure deposit does have a relation to the depth of how much the hidden items are buried. The larger the volume of the treasures, the deeper and much complicated to uncover them. On the other hand, smaller volumes are most likely buried at shallow depths. However, you have to know that when a certain group of a Japanese Imperial Army carrying large amount or volume of treasures while being pursued by the Allied forces, they really had no time to dig for complicated tunnels or hole to hide their precious loots. So what they often did was that, they scattered them, by burying them around at shallow depths. This is the reason why some commonly used signs by the Japanese Imperial Army indicates multiple treasure deposits hidden around the area. What I also happened to observed from my previous treasure hunting experiences is that, when you recovered a certain treasure deposit at a shallow depth, there is a very high chance that there is another one, or more just a few distance away from it. In short, shallow buried treasure deposits could mean that there are other multiple deposits nearby. So to all those who wants to rely on their metal detectors in locating hidden Yamashita treasures, these are the types of sites that you should be working on. Moreover, treasure signs are the best clues that you can have, which provides the accurate depth of the hidden treasure deposit. Although the Japanese Imperial Army were not fond of using signs that gives specific distance or depths, particularly to the location of their treasure deposit. In most cases, they much preferred to use signs that tell about directions, or estimate digging spots. Did you enjoy watching my video? If yes, and if you are new to my channel, then you may want to subscribe, like this video, and hit the small notification bell icon. By subscribing and hitting the bell icon, you will receive alerts or notifications about my new published videos. If you want a reading material about treasure hunting, then you may want to visit my blogging website at treasurehunt.club. Thank you very much for watching, and happy treasure hunting.